here I am in Nashville, and normally I would be exploring on the day after a 2 day mastermind that I'm attending. But I think I must be getting old because I decided that I would just do a little walking this morning, and then I was going to just chill here at the hotel. It's actually pretty quiet, not too bad. And I thought I would come to you and give you a little idea of what went on over the 2 days that I've been here in Nashville. Why do I come? You know, why do I travel 3, 4 times a year to come to a mastermind with about 100 other, I'm going to call them the top broker owners, brokers, agents, team leaders in the world, because it is a pretty phenomenal room that I get to sit in. And what is interesting about this time round is that it wasn't so much the technical aspect of how to run a business and the real estate industry and different aspects of it. It was really more about the person. And that what was fascinating, because usually, you go to these conferences, right? And there are these very high level speakers standing on stage, and they're teaching and they're showing you what they've done and how awesome they are, and the whole bit. So here's what was fascinating, is that this time round it was about the person. And so what I mean by that is you have these high level people, and most of the time, under normal circumstances, you think to yourself, oh my God, like these people are selling so many houses and they're such high level of production. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Not just a few. And we're talking about thousands of houses being sold a year, not 50, 100, 200, thousands. And we also had some speakers from outside of the industry who own billion-dollar businesses, who take home $8, $10 million a year in their pocket, net. So what was interesting is that these people all have fear, and they weren't too scared to talk about it this time round. And it seemed to be the pattern across the board. Every person that got on that stage talked about whether it was a difficult childhood or they went through something beginning of their life, middle of their life, but that's what got them to where they are today. So that's what's interesting about fear, isn't it? We go around and we do, hashtag be fearless and, no fear and so on. So, and I have done it myself. So here's the thing, is that you don't have to be fearless. You don't have to have no fear. You just have to move past it, right? So you feel the fear, but then you've got to move past it. And so that's what a lot of these speakers who I've been listening to over the last 2 days, this is what they were talking about. They were talking about, one of the speakers was pretty fascinating. Whatever is the worst that could possibly happen to someone happened to this guy. And it started from a young age. And it was tragedies, it was accidents, it was breaking his neck, it was prison, not once, twice, but 3 times. It was unbelievable. And yet, there he stands, within 2 years, built a business, takes home $8 million a year, and can still stand there and say, this is just the beginning. And it doesn't even matter if my life starts to go like this again, because I know it'll come back up. But what no one disputed was that they had fear throughout the whole thing. Every time life was about to go downhill, sure, they were scared out of their minds. How am I going to provide? What am I going to do next? Everyone feels it. But the difference between this person and this person who feel fear is that some people feel fear and it keeps them right where they are. They cannot move. They're paralyzed by it. In some cases, they move backwards. And then you have the other person that feels fear. They can feel it. They know they're scared out of their minds, but that's what makes them move forward. So that was a pretty interesting trend across the speakers this time around, is that you actually got to see who they were beneath all of the exterior, right? Beneath all the money, the big teams, the big brokerages. Everyone's been through something, and it's how you come out of it that makes all the difference. So I thought I would give you some of the nuggets that I learned over the last couple of days. Now, was there anything earth-shattering that was different? Nothing earth-shattering, nothing I hadn't heard before. But when you're sitting there and it's given to you, one person after another, it starts to get ingrained in your mind. So let's start. This is one of those things that that we need to remember every day. Everything big is built on the back of micro commitments. Everything. What does that mean? Whatever you decide to build in your life, whether it's business, personal, health, fitness, spiritual, whatever it is, it's never you start here and you end up here. It is micro commitments, right? Baby steps all the way up. And here's the thing. You can say that you want to go from point A to point B, but it doesn't work like that. You actually have to commit to every single step. So what does a commitment look like? It means that if you want to get your health in check, that you are going to wake up every morning and you're going to go on the treadmill. You're going to lift weights. And if you've never done it before, then it means that you're going to do it for 15 minutes day one. And then you're going to do it for 20 minutes day two. And 30 minutes day three. These are micro commitments. You are committing to moving your body for a certain amount of time every single day, or 5 days a week, or 3 days a week, whatever it is. But you are committing to it, which means you say to yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is for the time period I'm going to do it, and give yourself a deadline. So by the end of this week, I will have done this for this amount of time, and then you will actually be able to see what you will have achieved. Oh my gosh, the hotel's so dry, I've got like so much static. Okay, so micro commitments, hugely important, because that is actually what's going to move you toward your goal. So are you fearful about a goal that you've made for yourself this year? Are you wondering to yourself, how am I going to achieve this year? I don't even know how to get there. Are you saying to yourself, by the end of this year, I want to make so much money. But you've never made that amount of money before. So how do you know how to get there? You're going to start making micro commitments. You're going to get a mentor who's done it and can guide you along every step of the way. And you're going to find someone to be accountable to. That mentor is going to check in on you, and they're going to say, so how's it going? Did you do what you said you were going to do? Did you do it by the time you said you were going to do it? And if not, then let's look at what happened, and then let's work from there. Because your past dictates how you move forward. So if you weren't able to achieve the commitments that you decided last week, then we've got to look at that and say, okay, now how do we move forward? So, micro commitments. First important point. Second one, be obsessed with the process of moving through those commitments, but you're going to detach from the outcome. So, yes, you have a goal at the end of the year. However much money that is, however much weight you want to lose, whatever that goal is, you're going to create the micro commitments to get there. So then you're going to just stop worrying about that end goal, and your biggest goal is going to be achieving those micro commitments and sticking to them and not wavering from them. I had a lot of people coming up to me during the mastermind, because the beauty about these masterminds is that you get 100 people in a room from Canada, from the US, and I would say about 70% of the people you haven't ever actually met in person. So, you've got friends online and you meet them on Facebook, but you never actually meet them in person. So I had quite a few people coming up to me saying, oh, I watch your videos, and so great to meet you in person. And so they were asking me, how is it that you have managed to build what you've built through video? How long have you been doing it? How did you do it? Where were you when you first started? And funny enough, when I was telling people that when my coach 4.5 years ago, Jon Cheplak, said to me, you got to start doing video, I looked at him and I was like, you're crazy. You want me to put myself on video? People are going to take me apart. They're going to look at what I look like, what I sound like. I have to look at what I look like and sound like. I thought, there's no way I'm going to do this. I'm never going on video. And it was very simple. If you want to move the needle in your business, you have to do something different, because, as the quote says, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you want to change in your business, you're going to have to change something in your business. So I said, okay, what do I have to do if I'm going to use video in my business? So he said, you've got to do this, this, and this. You've got to do this many videos. You've got to commit to it. And then you're going to move forward. Of course, I didn't know how to do any of those videos. I didn't know how to promote them on Facebook. 4.5 years ago, not that many people, I would say like this many people were doing video. So that's what I started doing. I made a commitment to 12 months. I was like, okay, I'm going to try this thing out called video. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to be scared out of my wits, because nobody was putting themselves on video 4.5 years ago. And I'm going to see what happens. But I commit to 12 months of this, and I commit to the number of videos that I have to do every month. And let's see what happens. So pretty amazing, because no one was doing video at that time. Within my first month, I had someone contact me, and I went and I gave them a price for their home. And of course, that turned into a listing. And then I did an open house video for the listing, and all these people came through the open house. And then I had all these prospects all within 4 days of doing these 2 videos. And subsequently made a lot of money off of 2 videos. And it was only January, because, that business was coming for the next 6 months. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this video thing is pretty good. Kept going. And now, 4.5 years later, it has evolved into something pretty amazing. But it would never have evolved into something amazing if, one, I hadn't gotten over my fear, and not even gotten over my fear, but if I had given into it and just said, no, I can't do this. I can't take people looking at me on video like I'm doing now. I can't take, people criticizing my voice or what I'm saying to them. And what if what I say is wrong? What if I make a mistake? I wouldn't be here 4.5 years later, speaking across the US, speaking in Canada about how to promote your business on social media marketing if I hadn't just said, you know what? My goal is bigger than the fear I've got for it. So let's just do this. Let's commit to what I need to do, and let's just see what happens. Because really, at the end of the day, what is the worst thing that can happen, right? So here we are, 4.5 years later, and running a successful business and brokerage. I'd say probably 70% of my business comes from Facebook. I would say the majority of the agents who have joined my brokerage met me on social media through video, because you know what video does? And here's another point. It's parasocial behavior, which means you get to know me. I may not know who you are, but you're getting to know who I am. You can see how I sound. You can see what I look like, because as you see me here is how you're going to see me when I show up at your door or when you show up at a conference together. I can't hide it. So yes, you can feel fear, but you can keep going ahead and doing what you got to do, because fear is all up here. We create the fear. Until you think that you're worried about what other people think of you, that's just a fear that you've created in your head. So once you can move past that, everything gets a whole lot easier. There's some comments there. So, hey, Gary. All right. So, commitments, done. Fear, check. Let's keep going. Deadlines, giving yourself deadlines. So this is actually really important, because pro athletes always have deadlines, don't they? So they know that they have to be at practice at this time. They know that practice is over at this time. They have to have done so many practices before they get to a game. Post-game, they then have to review everything they've done, all their plays and so on. Everything has deadlines. So in your business, if you're not giving yourself deadlines, then you don't know what you're supposed to achieve by the time you're supposed to achieve it. If you have a goal at the end of the year, you always need to work backwards. So you have a goal of this amount of money at the end of the year. Now work backwards. Divide that by 12. Now take it by the month. Divide that by 4 weeks. So now you're at the week. What do I have to do every week? Divide your week into 5 days. Now what do I have to do daily? Now take your day. You're going to work 8 hours a day. Now divide that day into 8 hours. What are you doing every hour of the day? Because when I hear people tell me that they don't have enough time, the problem is that time is being wasted hugely. Take me, for example, right now, right? I am doing this video. I have chosen not to lie in my hotel room and watch movies. I don't even think I could do that if I tried. I just can't lie there doing nothing. I've chosen not to really walk around. I did that this morning. Over, done. So here I am. Now I'm going to do a little work. It's Saturday. You might think, well, why are you doing work on a Saturday? Because why not? I run my own business. And when you run your own business, you decide when you work, but the hours still have to go in. So, handy notebook. Let's see what else we've got here. Yes, next one, focus. Focus is a superpower. Actually, focus is a superpower because so many people can't do it. So many people have a lack of focus because they allow distractions to come into play. So a great guy, one of the speakers, was at this mastermind, Contos. Contos is the CEO of Remax. He's a great guy because rather than talk about a person's position, their brand, beneath all that is the person. And that person is a great guy. And he stood on stage and he was talking about time management. And he asked everyone, are you good at time management? How many of you? How many of you can say, I'm really good at time management? So, some people in the audience put up their hand. And it's actually not true, because it's not time management, because time runs out eventually. It's choice management. What are you choosing to do in your day? What are you choosing to do in the 8 hours that you have every day, or 10 hours, or 12 hours, however many hours you are deciding to invest into your business, into your life, into your relationships, into your health, into food, all of that. It is choice management. Because when you wake up in the morning and you decide to do something else, when you committed to working out every morning, you have chosen not to work out. You had the time, because you can get up at 5 a.m. and work out for 30 minutes, and you still got a whole day ahead of you, but you are choosing not to. You have the choice not to eat certain foods that you know you're not supposed to eat, because they're not good for you, because they add weight, add sugar, whatever your issues are. So it's not a time issue. I didn't have time to make a good breakfast. It's a choice issue. You chose not to wake up with enough time to make the good breakfast. So these two things, you need to understand the difference between choice management and time management. Focus and distractions. You can be focused, but you have to get rid of the distractions. Social media is a distraction. If you are going to use social media for your business, then use it for business and get off. So this comes back to your commitments. It comes back to time, schedule, and choice. If you have a goal and you're going to get priorities done during the day of what's important, because we're going to talk about that in a minute, then you have to say to yourself, okay, if I need to post on social media, then one, I should be using my hour every morning or every afternoon. You're going to create your social media posts that are going to go on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, wherever you're posting, but you're going to start preparing those posts. It's not for scrolling and looking at what everyone else is doing, because that's a distraction. And we know what happens when we start falling into the pit of social media is that it's very hard to take yourself out of it. So hang in there, do what you got to do, post the post that you need to do, and say to yourself, the hours before work, so let's say 7 to 9, and the hours after work, maybe between 8 and 10 in the evening, use those as your social media times for relaxing. But do the work that you've got to do in between those times, right? It's a schedule, because you'll get disrupted by what someone else is doing. And then the problem with that is that someone posts something and you get affected by it. And now it's changed what you have already committed to doing, because, I don't know, you saw someone won an award and you didn't win one, and now you're feeling crappy about yourself. So you start letting it affect you psychologically. Avoid all that. Don't read through the feed. Keep it till the end of the night. Just get done what you need to get done. Because in order to be successful, you've got to put in the work. It really doesn't come on its own. I mean, we really all wish it did, but we have to put in the work when it's required. And it's required when we have a schedule or a plan of action. And it doesn't mean that you've got to grind and hustle and all of that, but it means that you can work smart and know what you got to get done. Time block, get stuff done. All right, enough of that. Let's keep going. Let's see. We have a lot of social media advice that was given. So what I think I'll do is I have another page, Catherine Lucadu Coaching. I'm going to post how to make great videos. What is the key to creating great videos and the content that you write on top of it, because we have to capture people's attention on social media. That's the whole thing. You know, there are over 2.5 billion users a day on Facebook. Whenever you post on social media, you are competing against 2.5, probably more, maybe 10 billion posts. And people scroll and scroll and scroll, right? You know, on your phone, you just keep scrolling. But what makes a person stop? What makes you stop the scroll? That is what I know. So it's the words, it's what it looks like, and this is what I've actually been working with my coaching clients for the last about week and a half, is how to get people to stop the scroll. So because I do teach that in my coaching program, I'm going to put it onto my coaching page because that would be more appropriate. So if you would like to know how to get people to stop the scroll, I'm going to post that a little bit later. We're going to finish off with this, and then I'll post it over to there. And if you do need help in branding, strategizing in your business, I am a real estate coach. Yes, I own a brokerage, but if you're at the point where you're not ready to change your brokerage, then come over as a client, because I can help you move through your business. If you are ready to change brokerages, then come on over and talk to me, because as you see me here is how I am at the brokerage. I'm really not scary. I just, you know, I'm very passionate about wanting agents to really live a good life. And you live a good life when you've got your things in order, or as they say, when you've got your shit together. And how do we do that? Well, it's a process, right? You kind of have to build a foundation for yourself. And then once you have everything working, it works beautifully. So let's move on. So we had one of the speakers who is not in the industry. He is Canadian, but he's actually in the health food world, fitness world. And the main focus of his talk was, and this is Todd Abram, really great guy as well. Everyone's great, right? That's the beauty when Jon arranges these masterminds, is that he gathers people who are very like-minded. Doesn't mean they have the same ideas, but they're very like-minded in the same mindset, where they're willing to be abundant, they're willing to give the information, you know, they're there just to provide, to serve, to help people. So basically what Todd was talking about is that your greatest ability in life is your availability, and your availability to want to win. So many people say they want to be successful. So many people say they want to make a lot of money. The problem is that they're not actually willing to do the things that they want to do or that they need to do to get there. So are you available to actually get what you want to get in life? Are you available to achieve the success that you want to achieve, or have you imposed limitations on yourself? Well, what happens if I grow too big? Then I don't know how to start a team. And then what if, and what if, and what if, and you can just what if all over the place. What if you actually just let life happen? What if you don't worry about putting limitations on yourself, and you just work toward what it is that you want to work toward. And as things happen, that's where you're going to implement new steps. You know, when a baby starts walking, they're not saying to themselves, well, what if when I get up I fall? What if when I get up I wobble and I hit that table? What if when I wobble I hit the corner of the coffee table? Because you know it's going to happen. We've seen all our children do it. But they're not worried about that. They haven't been preconditioned. They just get up, they fall, they get up, they fall, and they just keep doing it until finally they get up and they start making those steps of theirs. That's how you have to see your business. Just keep getting up and getting up and getting up, and don't worry about what could be down the road. You'll deal with it when you get there. Surround yourself with people who can mentor you when you get there. That's it. And I'm going to wrap this up because I think I've probably been on a while. If you're enjoying what we're talking about here, give me a like, just so that I know that you're there and it may be some nuggets that are helping you. If not, that's okay. I won't take it personally. So let's go on to yesterday, day two. Day two. Day two is a little bit more brokerage centric. We were talking about distractions, so I'm not going to go into that. We just talked about that. I think I've given you the gist of everything that was talked about. Yep, that's more social media stuff, which I will post. So many notes, right? It's like amazing. I love being a sponge, seriously. I love coming to these masterminds because I just take it all in. I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to, I'm here to network. I'm here to get to meet new people. I haven't laughed like I have laughed in the last 48 hours with some of my colleagues who I haven't seen in 2 years or 1 year. It's been really great. All right, so we'll end with building relationships. So there actually was one last thing I did want to mention, and I don't even know where it is. Yes, okay, last thing. You need to train. And as much as you think that you know your business really well, you need to keep training and learning. And, sometimes you hear a comment, you hear someone say something, and it's just that line, and I was like, oh my God, that is so true. So here's the line that I heard. We don't practice on our clients, and we don't practice with our paychecks. So what does that mean? It means that be an NFL Super Bowl star. Be an athlete. Train before you get to the competition. Don't practice at the time when you're going to get paid. So if you're a real estate agent, when you go to do a listing consultation, or if you call it a listing presentation or a CMA, that is not the time to be practicing. You're supposed to be practicing at your office or with your accountability partners at home, if you have a script, or if you are still learning the ropes of real estate. Do not practice in front of clients, because that's a recipe for disaster. Don't practice with your paycheck. That is a paycheck. That is someone's pride of, it's all their investment. When a homeowner is selling their home, that is their investment. So don't be practicing on them. You need to practice at your office. If your office doesn't have training or offer you guidance on what to do before you get to that situation, you are in the wrong office. And, normally I'm not this forthright, but there are certain things that we can't mess around with. And one of them is learning, training, knowledge, all of that. Don't mess with that. It's important. So you need to really learn your craft and learn it really well. If you are at a brokerage that is not supporting you in that way, you need to join somewhere else that is going to give you that. You need that support to become really good at what you do. Otherwise, you need to hire a coach or a mentor who will also be able to help you. It's one or the other, because just on your own, how do you know that you're improving? It would be very hard for you to determine on your own. Do you have steps that you can check in with yourself? Can you assess your results? If you are not achieving what you want to be achieving, if you are not getting the results that you hope to get, you need someone helping you to work through that and figure out why. And there you have it. 2 days in Nashville, Tennessee. So here's a funny story. This morning, I'm looking for a place to eat breakfast. So I go to the front desk and I say, can you recommend any restaurants within, the area? She's like, well, if you walk down there, it's most of the honky tonk bars. I was like, the what? And she said, it's the honky tonk bars. And I said, okay, so I don't know what honky tonk means. And she was like, what? You don't know what honky tonk means? And I said, nope, never heard of it before. So a honky tonk bar is where they play live music at night. And, it's country music, live music. Nashville's all about music. It's great. And even outside, when we were at the convention center yesterday, they actually play music outside on speakers, outside of the arena, the Bridgestone Arena, and at the music hall where we were at. So it's pretty cool. So she said, yeah, you're not going to get breakfast at the honky tonk bars. You're going to have to go elsewhere. So learned something new today. It's a really great place. It's been a little bit overcast, but all in all, wonderful, wonderful couple of days. Great times with great people. Learned a lot. And I loved that everyone showed their true selves while they were on stage. It's a nice refresher because everyone has a heart. They just don't always show it. Sometimes ego takes over, and that wasn't the case here. Everyone was very giving and open, but that also comes with the organizer. Jon is also very open and honest with people. And of course, that trickles down because you attract your tribe. And that's something I want to leave you with today. If you're not happy with the people who surround you, you might want to find new people to surround yourself with, because the people who are around you are going to support you. They're going to tell you when you need to be told something that you don't want to hear, but they're doing it for your own good. And they have nothing to gain from you. They're only there to help you, love you, and support you. So have a great weekend. And I'll see you back in Toronto. Bye for now.